In 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, ha! What's happening, y'all? Bass, how low can you go? Death row? What a brother know. Once again, back is the incredible rhyme animal, the uncannibal, the public enemy #1. Bible said freeze, and I got numb. What's going on?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? Welcome to a little thing that we call the Cipher.
Cipher, what's going on, y'all?
I am your host, Marcus the Kid Warren, and with me, as always, is my man Muff. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. It's summertime.
Summer.
I just sit back and unwind. You know. Speaking of that, dude, I heard like a remix where Will Smith laid some more vocals, new vocals. Well, they're the same vocals, but he just spit them again.
Okay.
Over a remix of Summertime. It's actually kind of decent.
Really?
You know, it's nothing to do with it.
No, do you think he'll ever put out another album?
He should. He should. You know what I mean? Especially with all that Will Smith is gay rumors. He should go gangster.
He's gay. I never. Where was this? I didn't even hear it.
Good. You don't need to know it.
I didn't even hear that.
It's stupid stuff, man.
I heard about him smacking the dude who kissed him. So that was,
maybe that was the anti. Like that put a stop to. I don't think he's gay anyway.
Oh, okay.
And not that I don't care what he is. Truth of the matter is, though,
man, he had Jada Pinkett.
I think
Jada Pinkett.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look though, I think he should put out another album.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, because number one, like Jazzy Jeff is one of the nicest producers. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Does a lot. I mean, y'all know he produced Jill Scott's first album.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
His production crew, A Touch of Jazz, them the dudes who laid down the tracks. Remember J. Live's album of All the Above?
Mm-hmm.
That was DJ Jazzy Jeff and his crew, man. So production is his deal right there, for real. At any rate,
yes.
Today we're going to be reviewing Big K.R.I.T. Live from the underground.
Live from the underground.
You know, and I guess Big K.R.I.T., you and I kind of had a difference of opinion about him as an MC.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's got a stereotypical Southern flow.
Okay.
Stereotypical Southern flow. You know what I mean? The album itself, Live from the Underground.
Okay.
Now I was looking forward to hearing the album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and listen to it. The overall is that I wasn't overwhelmed by the album at all. It's the production. I think is the issue with the album for the most part.
Okay.
I think he's a nice enough MC. I would still like him to have a little bit. It sounds like, you know what this album reminds me of? Remember Cool Breeze's album?
Well, faintly.
Yeah, faintly. Exactly. See, Cool Breeze back when they organized noise back in those days, late '90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, during that Outkast heyday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All of that stuff. It reminds me of Cool Breeze's album a little bit. Production anyway, but I mean they're not. It's not as good production wise as your Organized Noise production. At any rate, I found the album to be okay. There's a few tracks that stood out for me. In fact, the intro is really nice. Man, the intro was off the hook. I'm like, I'm gonna be blown away because the intro, has it going on. A couple of tracks that stand out for me is I Got This. And I think the flow, and that puts him like in his comfort zone. That southern bouncy type of flow. Overall, again, MB, I don't really have a lot about the album. It's okay for me. It's okay. This is his first studio album. He's put out some mixtapes, but the album is okay for me. Where do you stand on it?
Well, Big K.R.I.T., I don't think, and I gotta start watching what I say first of all, because Killer Mike got at me last week. Yeah, he hit me up on Twitter saying I was tripping, so I might have to start watching.
Y'all be telling him. I be telling him that he tripping, but he only, he got to get the artist to tell him. See, he don't listen to me.
But so I'm gonna have to stop watching what I say, because now I got a big nigga named Killer Mike telling me I'm tripping, so I'm gonna kind of I might have to censor myself a little bit. But the thing is,
you got Suge Knight sitting outside your door. You talking crazy about his artist.
So you see, the thing is about Big K.R.I.T., love the Big K.R.I.T. because I don't think he's actually stereotypical. I think that might be a little harsh to explain how he flows, because Big K.R.I.T., on top of everything else, I mean, he's a great flower, but I think he's also a poet, which is something that you don't always see coming from the South. I think that his flow is not unusual, but in a lot of ways, I guess you could say it's typical of the South. But a lot of times he goes off on a tangent and talks about other things, and he can get very, very deep and just very smart, and he can open up a window to his thoughts to make you see inside. Very, very type of very. I don't know what's it. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, well, okay. Here's the thing, and let's talk about the stereotypical Southern MC comment that I made. And we just got finished reviewing Killer Mike. Now, Killer Mike, when I say stereotypical, I'm talking about the Southern drawl and the bounce on the track a little bit, how they bounce off beat to the beat. And Killer Mike even has that a little bit. He's a stereotypical, but what sets him apart is number one is his subject matter. Even though Big K.R.I.T has some good subject matter too.
I thought so.
So I'm not dissing Big K.R.I.T. You know, because that's not really my problem. He's not the problem with the album. I've talked about this before, and I don't want to digress from. Well, let me say that. Save that. Stereotypical Southern MC, like Fonte from Little Brother. He's from the South. Well, he's from North Carolina, but he's not a stereotypical Southern MC necessarily.
Okay.
That's kind of what I mean.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
You know, if you guys are like that, even Ludacris is not really a stereotypical Southern MC necessarily.
True.
You know what I mean? He has his own style all together. Rick Ross, even though he's from Miami, I mean, is a different type of South, but he does not a stereotypical Southern MC. Some are, and I think he falls into that category. Big K.R.I.T does. Again, my problem, you know, for me is the production. That's my big problem with the album, though. But you, Andrew, go ahead.
Well, the thing was, it was kind of funny, actually, because I first started listening to this album. I listened to the first few tracks, and I was like, wow.
Here we go.
Here we go. It has begun. You know what I'm saying? And after I stopped listening to it for a little bit, and I remember talking to you, and you were like, well, you know, you didn't tell me exactly how you were feeling about the album, but I was like, what? He's tripping. Because this album is crazy. Okay. This thing is off the hook. Because if you want to know the truth, it has like the recipe for greatness. You know what I'm saying? Because you have an MC like K.R.I.T. You know, his first studio release, he's very articulate. He knows what he's talking about, and you know. But the one thing you might be very correct about is the beats do start to fall off a little bit, and they do get kind of like phoned in, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even he has collabos with Ludacris, and you know, even though those songs are pretty good, he also has another song about with 8 Ball and MJG. And let me tell you something, I wasn't really a fan of 8 Ball and MJG before this album came out. Now the album came out, I'm still not a fan of 8 Ball and MJG. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that I don't get, and it's almost like at a certain point this album takes a left, and it kind of loses me a little bit.
You know, you mentioned 8 Ball and MG, and I remember I listened to Tariq Nasheed of MacListens.com, and he got to talking about, you know, today's hip hop and, you know, what wound up happening in hip hop around the late 90s. And we had the Master P and all that other stuff, all those guys and that. And that's kind of like when hip hop really made you know, I had to really start going underground for my hip hop after that. You know what I mean? I just didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? Regarding the beats, and you know, I'm going to criticize or critique, if you will, Big K.R.I.T for this. And I say this you can find 8 or 9 episodes that we've done where I've said this exact thing. You are responsible for the beats that are going on your album. I don't care how dope you are as an MC. I've criticized Nas before because he's put out an album before where the beats weren't up to par. Although lyrically he's off the par. He's off the chain, obviously. It's Nas. And you know, Big K.R.I.T, man, look, let me give you the other flip side of it. A guy like Rick Ross. Rick Ross knows how to pick beats. Yeah. In fact, he's got a production routine that's a little bit crazy. And and the reason why Rick Ross is consistently makes hits is because his production is strong, straight up. And that's why, in regards to people saying, "Oh, he's a big liar," and you know, this dude, he was a corrections officer, whatever. None of it matters because his beats are tight. So when you listen to it, you can play Rick Ross.
Lyrically, he's crazy.
Lyrically, he's crazy too. He's got it, and his flow's a little crazy on top of it. But he can have all the flow and craziness he wants to. If his beats were whack, you wouldn't be saying that about it.
You're right.
You know what I mean? We'd say, well, he has potential to have this. And that's what I feel about Big K.R.I.T. I think once he gets to where he gets a stronger beat selection, he'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like we criticize, we're talking about Killer Mike. We made the comparison between him and Killer Mike. The difference is Killer Mike put a bomb. His production is sick with LP, right?
LP
that makes LP. It was like
crazy. LP, Static Selector or something like that.
Yeah, it's you know, he needs to get his beats together. He does that. I can see Big K.R.I.T doing this thing going forward. So if I was to go ahead and rate it, I'll go ahead and rate this thing a 3.
Okay. Actually, I'm surprised you even gave it that much.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give him through the strength that he's a nice lyricist. He's introspective.
Yes.
So he's not a whack MC at all.
No.
So I'm going to definitely go to 3 on that.
Well, let me get your opinion on something here real quick. After I listened to it the first time, I was almost where you were. But then again, I went back and I listened to it again. And I think that what Big K.R.I.T was doing, he was trying to make a well-rounded project, okay? Because he knows that it's just not for me, it's just not for you. He was trying to make an album for everybody in his demographic, which means he might want to lace a few tracks, like for instance, Live from the Underground, great track. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I love that track because he gets deep, he gets introspective, he's articulate. But he goes and he makes like a few just bounce tracks, like the one I said with 8-Ball and AMJG, and that's where they lose me. But they're going to actually get other listeners to say, well, yeah, those first few tracks sucked, but the rest of this joint is on fire.
So you're saying? Well, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying that you think that he tried to touch different people with some of his man.
Yeah, I think he did.
See that, and I think that's what a lot of artists screw up on. I think the best. If you look, okay. I think there are very few classic albums out there that are all over the place beat-wise. You know what I mean? Very few. If you look at any classic, you will find that the production is relatively consistent in its style of production. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't veer off a whole lot. I'll give you an example. We talked about Rick Ross. If you listen to, say, Teflon Don, the production style is pretty much the same. Pretty much, for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Look at any other classic, you know, whether we talking about Try, we talk about some Philly, we talking about J Dilla produced albums, we talking about Madlib produced albums, you know, we talked about even your Killer Mike, you know, same style of production all the way through. I think when you get to where we want to make sure we hitting, we're going to put a couple of joints here for the ladies, we're going to put a joints for the kids, we're going to do a couple things for the underground. I think your album is going to suffer because you're spreading yourself too thin.
Okay.
I think you're better off doing having solid production, consistent production, having people come to you as opposed to you trying to hit everybody. You know what I mean? You're trying to please everybody. You can't do that.
Well, I gave him a little bit of credit. I mean, and I understand where you're coming from because, you know, that's how you lose listeners like you and me. Right. But then again, you know, you're going to be picking up a younger crowd and stuff like that. And they're going to be listening to your album maybe a little bit more the weekend. But I'm going to step back. I'm going to go ahead and give you my rating. I thought it was a little bit better than you thought it was. I'm giving it a 3.5, but still, I think it could have been a lot better. Like I said, I had the recipe for greatness for a good old Southern. I mean, it came out swinging. It came out with, I mean, it had those deep Southern warm textures, and it was really cool. And I'm like, man, this is reminiscent to Southern playlist, kind of like music.
Yeah, I thought he was going with that.
I'm like, yeah, like Outkast's first album.
Right.
Whatever. That's so
Second album,
crazy.
third album.
Oh my goodness gracious! But it lost me with those warm textures and everything. That good old fashioned southern style. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to think of when I'm listening to a southern rap album. And I did at first, but it kind of lost me. So 3.5 for me.
3.
All right, let me tell you where you can hit us up. You can hit us up on Twitter. We are KidMuff44 on Twitter. That's KIDDANDMUFF 44 on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. You can hit us up. We are the Cipher Crew. Don't forget to hit us up on our email. You can also hit us up there. It's KIDDANDMUFF44 at gmail.com. That's KidMuff44 at gmail.com. So, Big K.R.I.T.
Big K.R.I.T.
Still, check it out though.
Check it out though.
Check it out.
You might not agree. We don't know everything. Let us know what you think. Get at it.
Yes, sir. But check it out anyway because the Cipher said so, son. We out of here.
Peace.
Big K.R.I.T. got the whip fast.
My man Trey, and you don't stop. Johnny Boombats, and you don't stop. My man Muff, and you don't stop. My nigga Woo, and you don't stop. Little Brooklyn, and you don't stop. Grand Jury, and you don't stop. Jay White, and you don't stop. Cipher music, and you don't stop. Check it, we rise from the grave with the eyes of a slave. We strive to survive, rocking the mic live, no surprise that we paid. We created a trade that became a craze, and wasn't vice versa. Gave birth to a verse and baptized it in cursive. If you thirst for the real, then travel no further. We murdered the fraudulent motherfuckers and went out to get burgers. We hip-hop carnivores, living by the